This is a total Corvette that I chose to buy from a junkyard, but little did I know, it had a problem. Once I got it home, I found out it had a blown motor, so we decided we need to replace it. And because we have so many awesome sponsors that we're working with, we decided to get a brand new motor to make this the best build we've ever done. Not only because we want to get a fresh start, but we're also going to be taking this car to SEMA Fest. SEMA Fest is the car show that is open to the general public, and if I'm going to have everybody seeing this car, I want to make sure it's in tip-top shape. So, knowing that we have 30 days to build this car into something so amazing, we started by building the motor with Texas speed and giving it everything it needed to make the maximum amount of horsepower that it might be making. Then, we put it in the car, and that's when we ran into the issues. This supercharger is made for a Camaro. Even though they share the same engine, everything that is around the engine in a Corvette to a Camaro is very different. So, we're gonna have to make a lot of modifications like we did here. We had to cut the back of the firewall just to make the supercharger fit.
No way, it fits, doesn't it?
No way! No way, he made it fit! Okay, wait, hold on. What about here? What's happening here?
So, I was saving that for now.
Wait, you don't know yet, is what you're saying.
I've come up with some scenarios, but we literally
Holy sh**, fits.
got it in here like
No
a freaking
way.
glove. Literally an hour and a half ago, we were ready to light this on fire.
Yeah.
And remember, this supercharger is not made for a Corvette. We have to make it work for a Camaro supercharger, but it has to fit in a Corvette, and that's what makes this really tricky. So now we're having to work with a 3-belt pulley that's made for a Camaro, and we're gonna have to use a Camaro supercharger and have to configure it in a very custom way.
Just so much of this turning a Corvette into a Camaro is just becoming such a big issue for us.
So overall, there's about 6 to 7 things that we have to do to make the supercharger work. That's extending the steering shaft, relocating the rack 1 inch forward, putting a 3-belt pulley on, cutting the firewall, using and creating a brand new configuration for all the accessories like the alternator, the power steering pump, and the tensioners. And that creates a lot more work for us in order for this to work.
So this is the biggest issue that we're having to face. No one has ever done this or worked on something like this before. Basically, we're having to fabricate everything that's there, and we want to make sure that by having one conflict, we have to move another thing. It can create more conflicts with what we're building, so we're trying to make sure that we don't run into any more issues because of a custom build like this.
This has never even been considered before.
Obviously, we can get into very specifics, but for everyone and the average viewer, now that we have added this new pulley here for our cool new supercharger, that's where this thing is supposed to go. This is not mounted in. You can see this in line. You can see that that is the pulley right there that we have just added, and this is in the way. This needs to be right here, but we need to move it forward. Like, see, it doesn't go in here. Like, I can't put it in. You want to try to put it in, Nate? Oh, it doesn't fit. Oh, it's hitting. That's not good. It can't be hitting. And this side's not even in at all. And that side's not even in properly. So if this was in, it's in crooked. It doesn't even fit. So in order to make this fit, we have to move these 2 tabs forward all the way over here, and then this one all the way over here, just so that can fit there. And that's what we're running into. And that's a big custom job. And it's all up to Nate to make that happen. And I'm gonna try my best to assist him because I have never done fabrication work like that before. And once we're able to figure out this huge mess here, the car should be hopefully running in no time. After, obviously, we do everything else.
You can't say that.
Oh, you can't?
Quick, knock on wood.
So while Nate is focusing on the front side of the car, I'm gonna be focusing on the suspension, which goes on the front and rear of the car.
WiseFab sent us a kit, but now that they have sent us that kit, we had to get these bushings.
These bushings are like a new pair of shoes. It's gonna give the car a nice smooth ride.
Replacing all of those so then we'd be able to put on the WiseFab kit, and then we'd be able to get more angle to make this a sick daily drive drift car.
Sick. Those are so pretty.
That was the main part of the suspension. So now it's time to open the Feel suspension. Ooh, they're white. Shout out to Feel, thank you so much. But now it's time to actually show you what they're about. So these will be set up professionally. As of right now, I'm just gonna be quickly installing them just so we can get them on so the car is ready to be put on the ground, ready to be wrapped, ready to get that stuff going. BEA, beautiful. Look at that. These are comp ready coilovers. These are the Feel 441s, and I'm putting them on my car because I want to daily drive and be able to drift it at the same time. So let's get these bad boys on. So because I'm not a professional installer of these coilovers, I'm just gonna put them in and then we're gonna have a professional set them up afterwards.
Nate was able to relocate the rack forward enough for us to get that spacing.
So the supercharger's gonna work!
Hell yes! Oh, it's so sick. So now that that is all set, really all we need to do is just get this thing running now, right? So.
You know what I tell you? Brandon's coming.
Oh, so we have the wire guy coming.
Yeah, and he's amazing at all the other things too.
Nate is a crew chief for an FD team, and he has a friend named Brandon that is a wire guy that also works on the same team. And he's gonna be coming out and helping with my Corvette.
He's going to be handling all of the misc items and things that we might not know how to transfer from one plug to another, as this is a completely different motor than the original one.
All right, new issue, yeah?
Yeah, so when I was underneath there checking everything was super sweet and awesome. We're doing that. I looked over to the side a little bit, and there's a leak that we shouldn't be having.
What?
I believe the slave cylinder.
God damn. The slave cylinder is between the motor and the torque tube, the transmission.
That's 100% was leaking.
Because we have the leak coming out of here, we have to drop the whole rear end of the car, including the transmission, these whole rear wheel assemblies, and this whole area just to fix that one thing. Usually this process would take people like multiple months to do this, and we're doing it in 6 weeks. All right, so at this point, I've taken apart everything in the rear end. We're about to drop the entire transmission and the torque tube just to get to that leak. The leak is right there, and it's just because that is loose. See, that's what's loose. And that one piece out of the entire car set us back that much time. So now we just gotta fix it and get back to work. Nate has been working for a couple hours now and just got the rack relocation bracket made custom. Oh my God. That looks stock. Wow, look at that.
It's pretty impressive, dude.
Yeah, bro, that fits so good. So now I'm turning my focus to the front end of the car, where I'm putting on the suspension, which is the fuel coilovers and the YSFAB angle kit. So now that we switch over the wheel hubs, we're torquing them down.
How many pounds did we do there?
100.
Woo! With the team, yeah. We about it all. Get the cream, yeah. Why you flagging? Why you tugging on the top? Boy, you got it.
So what we're doing right now is we're grinding this part of the A-arm so we have clearance for max angle for the angle kit.
Yeah. I've been up here with my team, so you know this what I mean.
And if you're looking for anything like this, everything will be in the link in the description for the YSFAB and the fuel coilovers. Okay, well, as of right now, I've moved over to the motor. I'm switching out the alternator. Just really right now, we're getting ready to put the supercharger on as we've gotten the entire pulley system figured out. We actually just found out that we needed to use a stock water pump from a Corvette, and it actually works perfectly for the Camaro supercharger setup. Sorry, this is all confusing. I've never worked on a V8 like this before, so I'm learning as much as you guys are, which is very fun. But I'm just trying to get my words down of how to explain what's going on here, as so much fabrication and so much stuff has happened, and Nate has really saved the day on building this car and making this all possible. So I'm just doing what I can to pick up my slack on the little things that I can do while learning how to do the things that Nate are doing, being able to help support him to be able to get this car ready for SEMA, as that has been such a big drive for us right now. Now I am working on putting together the entire wire harness. Not only that, I'm putting on the starter, and I'm also going to put on the headers and put on the entire exhaust system, which we weren't able to get an aftermarket one because I think it already came with one, which is a perk when buying a car sight unseen and not knowing what comes on it.
To get locked into it, I've signed up, I must pursue it. Assignments are stacking up, but my side.
We're almost done, bro. All we have to do is put the supercharger on, intake, we got radiators, like we're literally like right there.
From those we see too often, left the lane, they dealt with from.
Got the rack in, and we got the YSFAB all set up right now with the tie rods on. All right, so now it is time to put in the Magnuson supercharger. And luckily, they have an entire instruction manual on how to put this together, but on a Camaro. Because this is the first time anybody has put this supercharger on a Corvette. So we're having to skip pretty much most of the entire process and get right here to the center of it because we've done everything it takes to get to that point. It's a completely different car, and we have to kind of skip the process slightly a little bit. This is super exciting. It's just taken so long to get to this point. The fact that even the supercharger is going on, I mean, I was defeated a week ago, not even knowing if this thing was going to come together. Nate made it all possible. These are the Holley MSD coil packs that we're putting onto the Magnuson, what is it, coil relocation kit for the supercharger to fit. We're gonna grab our brand new coil packs. Once we get those on, that's the next step in our little list of things we gotta do here as we're following the instruction manuals. Oof, it fits. If it fits, it ships.
Look how pretty and packaged this is, dude.
Yeah, except the alternator.
Yeah, I wish we painted that black.
Honestly, there's pages of this stuff, and we're gonna be doing this for a while before the supercharger even goes on. So, it's time to get to work. We're about to put the supercharger on for us to connect the injectors, but we've also set up the evap system, the vacuum lines,
Throttle extension.
But now it's time for us to set the supercharger on top of this block, as it says inside the instructions, and get everything on for the injectors and the whole rest of the supercharger to go on.
So we just opened up the inside of the supercharger, and this is what we see right now, which is crazy.
Do not get your finger in that.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I'm making it look.
Literally 1 in the morning and we're still out here. We literally are so close to getting this almost completely complete. You can't even see the valve covers anymore. You can't. Like, it doesn't even matter. All right, so as of right now, this is where we've left off. And all we need now is the radiator, the belts, the intercooler, the intake, the K&N air filter.
Fuel in the tank.
And then we're ready to start? Really?
Tune.
Wow. It is the 18th. We have basically 10 days to get to SEMA.
Don't say your Don't finish that sentence. We're not sitting pretty.
We're sitting great right now. So we have 10 days to get to SEMA. So now all we do is do the wrap. We have to do some of the stuff on the inside to get the whole inside of the car done. And maybe we could do alignment stuff in the meantime while the motor's going. Like, so yeah, this is good. We got some good work ahead of us, but still the car is not finished, but we were so close, but yet so far. We just came from putting on the supercharger, but Nate has been working double time today on making sure that we can get this car running ASAP so we can get the tune and everything set up. And he put the new Mishimoto radiator in with the oil cooler actually inside of it, with the trans cooler also inside of it too.
A direct fit too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
We're also putting the intercooler for the supercharger in, and we put on all the belts and everything for the supercharger. We're about to put that on. Got the AC on.
We just put the dipstick in.
Oh yes, dude, you have no idea. GM was on strike, so getting a lot of these parts were actually really hard. It wasn't as easy as just going to AutoZone and getting whatever you needed. So getting a dipstick was probably one of the hardest things to get, and that's how you check your engine oil to know if it's like able to run or not. So now you can imagine, if we can't find a dipstick for this car, imagine how hard it was just to do this many complex things to the car and still make it happen before SEMA.
Hey, don't jinx us, but yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Look at where we're at. Like, come on.
No, I know.
Like literally, what could go wrong? We're having to use this fan, as sadly we weren't able to get any aftermarket fans that were able to get to us on time and having the car working, as this one is already wired up and ready to go and will work perfectly with what we have. So for now, we're gonna have to put them on. So the aftermarket Mishimoto radiator actually fits right in with the condenser here. So at this current moment, we're trying to figure out where we're gonna place the new reservoirs that we have, or having to relocate the reservoirs that we have. And also, we're gonna have to test fit our new K&N air filter. And if this stock one doesn't work for the Corvettes, we're able to use this aftermarket one that you can put on to pretty much any car. They make them all types of sizes. They also have the in-cabin air filter, which I'm gonna replace right now because that's the biggest thing that I like. I like race car with good, clean air, but not only that, nice AC that runs and/or heater. Nate's putting his head together to try to really figure out how to even make this all make sense, because there is so much going on under this hood. There's barely room for literally anything else to fit. Like, I could barely fit my hand in anywhere, and we're having to put reservoirs everywhere, which is crazy. Right now, we're gonna be opening the Corvette intake air filter from K&N, and we're gonna be test fitting it into the car. This is usually right here, and it's supposed to fit in the centerpiece and lock in right there.
So we still might weasel something. That at least sucks in air right there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is so cool looking. Wow. I think we could somehow just use this right here. Imagine it just going right there.
Shove here. I could probably, I mean, it's not going to be the prettiest freaking thing, but we could have this come up, go flat, and then connect it with like a 45 over here.
This is gonna be so tight. And while Nate finishes up the car, I was out being launched off the world's largest slip and slide ramp. And if you guys want to watch me and my friends get launched off this ramp, you can check it out on the Funk Bros channel. Wow. Dude, I can't believe that works. And it's not even like rubbing too. This sits flat and it's not gonna stick out of the hood, which is really, really nice.
See, this is all custom too.
Wait, what? Oh, wow, so that's crazy. So this piece used to be on the K&N kit, which usually fits on any Corvette you have, but for us, we've got a little bit of a custom one. So you had to make a modification here and cut this off in order for us to fit the filter here whatsoever. It's just crazy how full this engine bay is. You did an amazing job.
NTG builds for the win.
So basically, before we were even able to start this thing, there's a lot of things that I don't even know that Nate is teaching me about how to do on this car build, because it has turned into something that I couldn't even imagine it turned into. So I am so grateful for every single sponsor that is into this, especially Nate killing himself, building this car, making it all possible. Without you, we would not have made it to SEMA whatsoever.
Don't say things like we've already been there.
Not only that, we're trying to build a water slide outside too, and we got a lot of stuff going on here, really. We're all stretched thin here, but we're making progress. So this is about the 20th time, stupid.
The door's locked. All right, so this is about the 20th trip I've made to the store. And with all these trips, I've gotten something very important. And it's been really hard to get. I got the piece, bro! I got it! I got the dipstick. We got the dipstick in! Don't worry, we still have to make, like, you know, the radiator work. And we got a bunch of custom fittings for that. And the aftermarket intake and all this other stuff. But at least we got the dipstick checked.
Today is Saturday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we have tuning, and this car should be running for Tuesday. So there's a lot of work to do. So as I said earlier, we had Brandon fly in to help us with all the wiring. He can only stay here for a limited amount of time, so we need to use him while we can. But we are getting so close to the finish line that we can almost start this car. And that's a good thing, because tomorrow we have dyno and tuning to do. But if we miss dyno, we will not make it to SEMA.
Oh my God, I bought this car at Copart, completely blown, and now we've gotten to here. This is like the point, the pinnacle point, you know, to get this thing started. This is crazy.
And once Brandon was done wiring my car, I had something I needed him to do.
Please pull the f over. I've got this new little handy dandy walkie-talkie. What we can do with it now is I have all these buttons that I didn't really ask for. I just wanted something I could play with. So, but it came with all these buttons of all these noises it makes, which are fairly legal in Mexico, which we are at. This is very illegal. Please no one get one of these for their vehicle. Thank you very much.
And now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Will my Corvette start?
Keep it going, keep it going.
Yeah?
Keep it going. Okay, let us do it again. Wait 3 seconds.
Cluster's on. We're going for it again.
Jump box anywhere? Do we have a jump box that works anywhere?
No. No, what? Would you?
Do we have a jump
I'm thinking.
box?
No.
But we're talking to you.
Really, I know that. I'm just trying to think. This car needs to be running in like 4 days, fully wrapped, full interior, fully running car, everything clean.
Damn.
So we're like all a little bit on edge. I'm actually fairly chill right now, but I know that they know a lot more of what's going on, so that's why right now they are a little bit more on edge than say myself. We'll see what happens. As of right now, it looks like Corvette doesn't have as much power as it needs to start. That's what it sounds like, I'm guessing. So we brought the Honda in. This has been the daily for a little bit actually. And we're actually going to try to power up now with this running here. Are you ready?
Yeah, 7 seconds.
Okay, auxiliary power is on. Starting.
I don't know. This is where I don't know. Okay, press the throttle.
3, 2, 1. Woo! Holy sh! That was so f***ing loud. Okay, one more. I really don't know what to do on this point, you know? Like, so they're testing all these different variables, and so we need to make sure that each of those are getting to the motor and getting in, and if those are getting in, the car starts.
Do it again.
Okay.
You have fuel, you have spark, so it's either
Or did
that
we just
or...
bleed the line?
The injectors are working, so that means the fuel, spark, and air are good. The car just isn't starting, and we feel that's because of old fuel. This is like our 6th times trying to start it, and it has not worked yet.
How we feeling?
I just want this to start. Tomorrow, this car is supposed to be on the dyno making 650 horsepower, and now it won't even start. So we're just trying to diagnose every problem we can out of it.
So after enough time of troubleshooting the car and trying to figure out what's wrong, we decided to start the car one more time.
Oh, wow!
And I can't believe it, but it actually worked.
Look at that, brother!
We got oil pressure.
Everything's looking good.
Well, good job, dude.
Good job to you too, man.
Thank you.
After so much time working on this thing, we got a car to start. That's crazy. Now that we've had a successful test start, before we do the dyno runs where we actually can run the motor and we can hear it, we can listen to it, and we can allow it to run longer than 20 seconds just to make sure that it runs and it has oil pressure and has the things it needs, so we know that we can actually put it on the dyno and put down power. We have to put together all of the lines that connect the cooling system for the supercharger and the motor itself, which is the radiator. And then we also have to connect the power steering fluid and maybe anything else like bleeding the clutch and the brakes so they actually work, because as of right now they don't work. There's a lot of work to do. So it is 1:29 in the morning and we don't have any power steering fluid. How are we gonna make this car run if we don't have power steering fluid? Well, we drove down to a local gas station and grabbed all the bottles of power steering fluid in the small town where I live, and we were luckily able to find some. And now with this small little thing added, we're able to start very soon. All right, the airplane is ready to start.
Hold the button.
We need to get this thing to start. We have a dyno in 8 hours from now.
So we're supposed to have a running car when we go to the dyno and the tuner, but because it's not working now and it was working before, we think it might be a tuning issue, so we're just gonna pack the car up and bring it to him in the morning.
All right, I'm fully packed. Today's just as nerve-wracking as the day as I pick this thing up. We don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what to expect. So it's just a matter of figuring it out and finding out. Let's get it. Man, I ran 2 hours of sleep, but I feel like I've been awake all day. This is a tuner. And the tuner is actually going to tell the car what to do and how to run. It's a very complicated process. It's not just add this much fuel, this much spark, and this much air. It's really a combination of while you're on throttle, while you're off throttle, in this gear and that gear, this temperature of air because the air is denser and so it's super complicated. But once we get this done, the car should actually run good, and then we can move it over to the dyno, and once we get on the dyno, it should now put down power. Our power goals right now is like 600 to 650 horsepower. So let's see what she can do.
The map reading right now should be 100 kPa, and it's reading 44 kPa, so it tells me it's off by about 50%.
So it looks like that this car was and confirmed modified before. That is very interesting because the car that when we got it was completely stock and looked like it was just blown up as stock. But we were able to see underneath on the bottom of the crank of the motor had numbers on it. And usually when those are numbered means the motor was built in some way, shape, or form. But now getting 100% confirmation that this engine computer told the engine to run a different way than the way we got it is very interesting. Yeah, they said that popping is not good.
Run, but yeah, that popping is not appropriate.
I really hope that's not timing. We would not make SEMA if that's timing. The whole motor would have to come out. Damn! What?
Got a spark plug wire that's like arcing out or something.
All right, so now he's going to be starting with a brand new tune he created for it, so it probably might sound completely different.
Yeah. I'm really hoping for no pops. Like, those pops are a sure indicator that we will not proceed with tuning in that, you know what I mean? I think that maybe those 4 are just flipped. Wow!
How?
Oh my God, buddy! Little emotional roller coaster right there. Yeah. He's good. He's good with the attitude though. He's stayed positive pretty much the whole time there.
All it was is that the wires were just switched around backwards, so I'm happy about that. It literally ran perfect. So now that the issue has been diagnosed, the time has come where we can put some power down on Maggie. That's her name. Her name's Maggie. Like, I've never named a car, and that just fits. That's just her name. Her name's Maggie. I'm excited. I was up at 2 a.m. and this thing didn't run, and now it does. So this is a dyno, which is basically a treadmill for cars. And today we're here to tune the car because you need a tuner to tell the car how to run, because right now it doesn't know it has all those goodies on it. So we have to tell it, hey, you have this big old supercharger on top pushing all this air in. You have all this other stuff, right? So that's what we're doing. to see is this screen right here is going to show us everything we want to know about the car. How much power it's making, the RPMs, all the goodies for you to understand a little bit more about what's going on here. On our second run, we have 250 horsepower. Right now, we're as fast as a Honda Type R. All right, guys, are you ready for the next final run? 487 horsepower is my guess. 568 horsepower. That's already more than my JZ, my 2JZ. This is gonna be better than the GTR and the Corvette that I've had. That was 70% throttle. So that means that's 30% more it could go. Wow. It's at 669. We have to stop at 669. That's exactly what I want. How much horsepower? 69, 669.
69 horsepowers.
Hell yeah. What, it wants to make 700?
Yeah, it wants to make 700 for sure. I'm handicapping it down on purpose right now, as much as I can.
So right now it's looking Maggie is making way too much power. So we literally have to turn her down because she's that crazy.
If we didn't stop at 680 horsepower, we would have blown up the car because we didn't have the right fuel pump for the supercharger. So not only do we need to change the fuel pump and make this car look perfect for SEMA, but we have to do it in 5 days.